medieval times, many pilgrims came to worship at the statue of Our Lady of Trim, which was here in St Mary's Abbey. In the Annals of Ireland in 1444, there's a long list of miracles attributed to this statue. It gave sight to the blind, hearing to the deaf, use of the hand to the cripple, use of the leg to the lame, and so on and so forth. And at the very end of the list is, and cats brought forth from a big-bellied woman that was thought to be with child. Giving birth to cats or rabbits or the other usual animals was a sure sign of witchcraft. Yet here it was regarded as one of the miracles of Trim. There was one woman burned for witchcraft in medieval Ireland, and she might well have come from Trim. Dame Alice Kittler was a wealthy lady down in Kilkenny. Today, there's a pub called after her, Kittler's Inn. In 1310, she married her first husband, William. He was a banker, and he died, and she inherited all his lands, properties, monies, and so on. She then married another banker as her second husband, and after a few years, he died, and she inherited all his monies, lands, and properties as well. She married for a third time, another rich man, and he died after a drinking spree, and Alice inherited all his monies, lands, etc. Notice the pattern occurring here. Well, Dame Alice married for a fourth time. She married a rich landowner from Clonmel. His hair began to fall out, his fingernails began to fall out, and he decided it would be much safer if he ran and stayed in a monastery instead of staying with Dame Alice Kittler. So there was a new bishop of Kilkenny, Bishop Ledred, or Bishop of Ossory. He had arrived from the continent where all the talk and rumours were about witchcraft. And he decided he would charge Dame Alice with being a witch and all her servants with being her assistants. He charged her with concocting a true witch's brew comprised of chicken guts, worms, corpses' fingernails, babies' brains, and some herbs for seasoning, all boiled up in a skull over an oak fire. Well, Dame Alice had become so rich and powerful that she actually got the Bishop of Kilkenny thrown into jail rather than the other way around. Bishop Ledred escaped, went to Dublin for reinforcements, and when he came back, Dame Alice had disappeared, never to be seen again. Off to England or Scotland, we're not sure. However, her son, William Outlaw, was being charged with being a male witch or a warlock. He had to have a number of masses said for him, and he paid for a new lead roof on the cathedral in Kilkenny, and the charges were dropped. Money talked even then. But Bishop Ledred had to have somebody to burn at the stake, and he chose Dame Alice's handmaid, Penelope the Mead, Penelope of Meath. Penelope came from Meath, and it is quite possible that she came from the major town of Meath at the time, which was Trim. Petronella was tortured and flogged and brought through 6 different parishes to be humiliated and persecuted before she eventually confessed to the charges brought against her. A huge bonfire was erected outside the market house in Kilkenny. Burning at the stake ensured that the condemned had no body to take into the next life, and the fire cleansed the soul. There were 3 different types of burning at the stake. The first was to build a heap of firewood and then attach the prisoner to a wooden stake. This ensured that everybody had a good view of the witch. The second was to tie the prisoner to the stake and build firewood all around them, and the witch died behind a wall of flame. Not so good for onlookers. And the third type was to half strangle the witch with a rope so that she would be unconscious and probably died of smoke inhalation. Again, less fun than watching a woman being burned to life and screaming in her suffering. A body could be reduced to ash in an hour in one of these bonfires. On the 3rd of November, 1324, Petronella of Meath was burned alive.